Hello again, and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I told you I was going to make a pumpkin raisin tea bread. They call it a quick bread, but if I say tea bread, understand it's the same thing, all right? The first thing you're going to have to do is grease a 9 by 5-inch loaf pan and preheat your oven to 350. So if I say a moderate, or you read a recipe that says moderate heat, it means 350. That's another terminology you must know, because you might find an old recipe that you really want to make, but you don't know what the term means. So if you hear moderate, it means at 350 degrees. So while that's going, we'll go ahead and start putting this together. We are going to mix together flour, baking soda, ginger, nutmeg, and salt. So let's get started. You need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, if you don't want to use your finger, you have a flat knife, you can use a flat knife, or you can use the back side of a regular knife and scrape off and come level. I use my finger most of the time because it's just more convenient for me, because my fingers are on my hands and I'm using my hands. But that's how you get the best crust and stuff, by not packing the flour, but just leveling it off like that, because if you pack it, it's going to be heavy, whatever you make. But if you do it like that and cut it across, you get beautiful textures on your desserts. Okay, we're going to need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now when you measure baking soda, press it against the box. Make sure you get it flat. You don't want it heaping because it'll be too salty, because baking soda isn't a salt. All right. Ginger, we're going to need a teaspoon of ground ginger. And on your nutmeg, you're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. You'll find out when you start using these different seasonings now, you end up combining them in different combinations. You come up with some beautiful dishes, and the flavor is just unbelievable. And if you're doing stocks and stuff and you mix all these flavors, you will not believe how your rice or gravy or roast will come out so much better. Most people don't know how to do it, or they're afraid to mix their seasonings up. My mother didn't really mix her seasonings up, but I've gone on a limb and and I have come out with some fantastic meals. And they are delicious. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to use my salt mixture. Okay, they want us to mix this up. Now, because this is a tea bread, I don't want to add wheat germ to it, so I'm going to add a kind of yeast that's a food yeast. It's not the one you make bread with. It is another one. It's actually brewer's yeast powder. This is a food. This is not one that you make bread with. That's an active one. This is a byproduct of beer making. And we're gonna put a tablespoon of this in to make sure we get our B vitamins and everything else that we need. And you can read it up here what it has and everything else. Now, where do I get these from? I get my lecithin and my brewer's yeast powder from Puritan Pride, as well as my vitamin E and my calcium, magnesium, and soy flour, soy powder. These things that I use, but my wheat germ and my powdered milk I buy at the grocery store. But through Puritan Pride, I get these and I add them to my foods for more nutrition, and they help me. So these are very common. You'll find lecithin and soy powder in my house. You'll find soybeans and other things like that, and as well as kelp. So by adding that tablespoon, I don't want to add too much. We will get the B vitamins in this with anything else that we're going to add in it. I tell you, this really smells good with those seasonings. Now, we've already done our dry ingredients. Put that to the side, okay? Now we have to be careful that we don't overmix this, because if we do, it's going to collapse, okay? Now they want a ½ cup of raisins. Okay, I have a ½ cup of raisins. Now, you know raisins will sink if you don't coat them, because a batter will cling to flour, because the batter is made of flour. So you put some flour in your raisins and you coat them. So when you mix them in, they'll suspend throughout the whole bread instead of being down on the bottom. The recipe shows all the raisins down on the bottom, so they sank. So by doing this trick, you pick your cooking up to a new level. As you learn these tricks and move forward, you'll find out you get more proficient with your cooking. And if you know how to cook, you can improve. I improve all the time. I'm better than I was. If I had to sit there and tell you some of the mistakes I made, if you saw them, you would say, girl, don't even go in the kitchen. But you learn. Though I had a lot of basics, I wanted to see if I could do certain things. In the process of experimenting, I made some big flops. I'm not ashamed to say it. I learned. All right. Now in another bowl, we're also going to be using a hand mixer on this one, but they want. I'm reading it right now. We need 1 cup, 1 stick, 1 cup, where am I going? We need 1 stick of melted butter. Mine is unsalted. We are going to add 1 cup of sugar. Okay, now we're going to add 1 cup of pumpkin puree, the pumpkin that I had done earlier, that I showed you. Here it is. We're going to put 1 cup in. This is a ½ cup measure, so. One cup. We're going to add 2 eggs. we're going to need, oh boy, we need grated orange peel, 2 tablespoons. So let me, I've already dehydrated orange peels. Where did I put them somewhere? Okay. Knowing me. Oh yes, here we go. We're gonna grate them in the spice grinder. That spread I made with the locks and the chives, it's all gone. Didn't last. I'm thinking about taking that pork that I froze, grinding it up and see what I can do with it. Let's see what we get out of this one. Now, if you want to know what 2 tablespoons equals, it equals 1/8 of a cup. Oh, I don't need this, I got the wrong one. That's not enough to this Dixie yet. We need 2 tablespoons. Yeah, two tablespoons of this. We need a lot more than this. You can go through your peelings so fast when you grind up your own. Oh yeah, I got it. There it is. 2 tablespoons and a little extra. Fell on the counter. Okay, put this up. And for vanilla, they want a whole teaspoon added. for the people who really don't cook a lot, you can see that basically it's putting just things, measured them out, and just putting them in one area. And you got it. Now, let's see, am I missing anything? All right, they want us to beat this together, so I'm going to get my mixer to beat it. So we're going to beat this. Really want to beat it too, until it's light and creamy. And we have this for a little while. What we're actually doing is beating air into this, which is going to help give it some look. Because air, like I told you, baking soda, baking powder, and yeast are all leavening. But the air is the one that will blast in the slam or door. So you have to be careful when you're using air as a leavening. You not have to put them separate. Now they say at low speed they want to beat this in. Basically meaning stir it in with a mixer. Sticking to it. It's got good outer texture. I'm ready to spatula for it. spread this out gently. You don't want to slam it or anything because you used air as you're leavening with the baking soda. Has good flavor. Now we are going to cook this for 1 hour, and they said bake until the top is golden and a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. For 1 hour we're going to cook this. So I will see you in 1 hour. We'll see how this comes out. It's been 1 hour. Let's check it and see how it looks. It's done. It looks beautiful. Here it is, a pumpkin raisin tea bread. Or if you wish to say a pumpkin raisin quick bread, okay? Now we have to leave it in the pan for 10 minutes because it's like a cake, very similar to a cake. And we want it to settle. And then we'll be taking it out of the pan. But we've got to give it 10 minutes to rest first. Okay, I'm using a flat knife. You see how thin it is? That's why I'm using it. Go along the edges just to make sure they're not stuck. Now it's still hot. I'm not going to lie to you, it's still hot. But it said some. You just want to make sure that you're going to be able to get it out of the pan. See, it's a little tight here. That's how you can tell. So flat knives are really good. If you don't have a flat knife, by all means use a butter knife. It's a little thicker than this. Just be a little careful that you don't tear it on the side. When you're going on the side of the pan, you don't want to tear it. That's all. This is all I'm going to use it for. I'm just going to put it in the cutting board. Now remember, tea breads aren't real huge. They're in between a cake and, actually like a cake, but you put other stuff in it. Instead of just the flour, salt, and stuff, and using frosting. You put ingredients into these tea breads, be them dried fruit, nuts. You can put vegetables, fruits in, you do all sorts of things with them. They're quite handy. That is going to sit till it's thoroughly cool. Do not wrap this if you want to stick it in the freezer. If you're going to, when it cools and you want to stick it in the freezer, wrap it in wax paper and then foil, but only after it's completely cool. I wouldn't do it. I'm going to wait till it's completely cool, and then I'm going to put it in my cake container. I have that, you'll see me put it in it. That's where I keep them. You keep, you know, bugs out and everything else. Of course, my sons will pick the lid up and go chop, 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 and start eating, but that's all right. Now, this bread is also very good with cream cheese. I've had it like that before, all right? So let me put it behind you because that's where I'm going to keep it cool, because this is where there's work if I'm going to do any cooking. So I think I'm pretty much done for today. Leftovers are definitely in the category today. I am not cooking. I think I'm going to take a day off. Well, you probably say, day off? You've been cooking all day. No, I know. I had to make yogurt and I had to get the pumpkin done so I could make this tea bread. But anyway, listen, enjoy your day. They said we're going to have rain all day, but now it's quite humid. You feel the water is in the air. It's a bit tacky and warm, but when that rain comes, we're going to get a lot of it. Take care. Bye-bye.